All right. All right, all right, all right. Hey, we're going to go ahead and get started. So thanks for being here this morning. You guys know the drill. If you're here in person, just be sure to fill out the attendance pads. Make sure we can get that information to Roger at the end of the week. So thank you. If you're joining us online this morning, thanks for clicking the link. There's lots of information in the QR code and on the link, so check that out. There's ways to engage in the worship today too. So, yeah, we begin each week with these words. Love is God, and all the time. Yeah, and as we light our candle, we say these words. They're on the screen. May the Christ in us see the Christ among us. And these words, may the Christ in me see the Christ in you. Hey, we have a few announcements this week. Lloyd's going to start us off with something brand new that he's going to tell us about.
Is this on? Yeah.
It is. Yep.
Earlier this year, St. Luke was one of 4 congregations that came together to show the documentary Divisible, which is a movie about redlining in Omaha. It's a housing type of film. These same congregations have now come together to host a housing town hall meeting, which will be December 11th at the Omaha Conservatory of Music from 7 to 8:30. We will have Mayor John Ewing there, as well as Greg Paskatch. I believe that's how you pronounce his name, maybe. He's the housing manager for City of Omaha, and we will have Eva Roberts from Front Porch Investments. So I'm here to invite all of you to come. This will be quite informative. There will be time to ask questions from the audience. And we are again asking people to register for this. There will be a link to that website that you can register in the weekly email this week.
Thanks. And any questions people have, they can see you, Lloyd. I think most of you have already been by the Willy Wonka factory in the back, also known as the Youth Bake Sale. Stop by and see it. Now, Sarah told me that I could have, I'm going to pay for it, but she told me that I could have this Mexican chocolate zucchini bread. It is, I hear it's really good. It's my justification to get vegetables. So, yeah. You take the steps you got to take. Other things that are happening youth related. The Advent party is coming up December 7th. So every year we have, I think we have 80 to maybe 100 people come out, and it's just good. It's December 7th. It's in the evening. There's free food. There's lots of crafts. There's all kinds of fun. So we want you to be a part of that if you want to come. You don't have to be younger to do it, but it's a good family event. Christmas baskets, we're collecting Christmas baskets for the next couple of weeks, but December 14th starts our youth auction. It's another fundraiser that we do. It's an opportunity for you to donate things that you would want to be auctioned off for the youth sale. So please do that. Any questions? Talk to Sarah about that. Tonight is soup and pie. Our friends from Bethel will be here. It'll be a lot of fun. We have a short worship service, and then there will be lots of soup and pie. So if you haven't signed up already, it's not too late. Just come out, be a part, have some great food. All right? The mission group. Every month, the mission group is doing a collection. This month of November, we are collecting toys for Heartland Hope, and we're still doing that through the end of midweek this week. Next month we will start collecting warm weather gear like gloves and hats and socks. So if you get any of those Black Friday sales coming up, it might be a great chance to purchase that. So if you have questions about that, talk to Heidi or Tina. Okay, finally, Christmas decorating. So Christmas decorating is going to happen all throughout this next week. It'll start most immediately after the 10:30 service today. But if you're interested specifically in helping put up the tree that will go up here, please come 10:30 tomorrow morning.
Over, yeah, I know what that says. I'm calling an audible for,
All right.
yeah. Any of you who are available during the day tomorrow, if you can come up after 10:30, and 10:30, the only thing magical about 10:30 is I have a meeting at 9. I get here at 10:30, okay? It's really helpful if we put the big tree up before folks show up to decorate it, because it takes a lot of care to kind of make it look like a tree instead of a mush. So.
Great. So, so this week, including on Monday, we're going to be putting Christmas decorations up. So if you're available, come out. We would love to have your help. I think you've got one for us.
Two things. Over the past few years, we've been figuring out other ways to raise the money that the church needs other than just our general budget. So two things this morning. One is this. The normal ask for gifts for the employee Christmas bonus. Employee Christmas bonus, for the most part, think CDC teachers. Every year in the past, the CDC has been able to put aside a chunk of money that they just designated for the bonuses. All right? This past year, that had to get cut out of the budget. So this year, any bonuses that they get are coming out of your kindness. All right? So if you've given in the past and you thought it was important, it'll be even more important this year. And if you have a chance to be even more generous, please do. Also, the same goes for the Christmas baskets. You may not know that the vast majority of all of the youth budget, a lot of the children's budget, and a lot of the young adult budget we use for ministry with those folk come out of the fundraisers that we are a part of. So if you got a chance to bring a basket, bring a basket. If you got a chance to buy a basket, buy a basket. All of that is really helpful. Thanks, Chris.
Becky, did you have an announcement? All right. That's okay. All right. Take a breath. Deep breath. It's a busy time of year. As you take your breath, remember these words. We'll say them together. They go like this. O love, whom I call God, you welcome me into this time of worship and remind me that this world, this place, and this moment belong to you. You welcome me to join you as a traveler on a journey I do not always want or understand. You ask that I love a stranger, feed the hungry, clothe the naked, and comfort those who mourn. O God, whose name is love, I ask that as I learn and grow and attempt to serve you and others, that I will be given the grace of you and my neighbor in all that I do. Help us understand that together as a community of faith, we can offer to you our prayers, our presence, our gifts, and our service in the hope of becoming a more loving community created in your image. We pray that at the end of each day, we can say that those to whom love is a stranger will have found in each of us and in our community generous friends. Amen. Marshall.
I need some help running the offering plates. Anybody here today that'll be willing to help take them? All right, just stand here a second. Let's see if somebody else comes in case it's just us. All right, it's just us. So, Thomas, we're going to go around and we're going to collect the things that folk have as gifts. They're gifts that come with faith. So sometimes we think that this is just a great time to run, but you're also providing a great service to everybody else in the church, allowing them to have the opportunity to share their faith in giving back to God that they have received. Thank you for your help. Here you go. Nicholas, you want to help too? All right, there you go. I'll go this way.
So I need some help too, running mics, because we don't want to see that. So do we have some young people do we have anyone that wishes they were young and has energy? Come on down. Yeah. Nicholas. Hey, Nicholas, when you're done, come back, all right? Who's got celebrations, fun things, good things that have happened in the community that you want to share? All right, there you go. Thank you.
On Thursday, there were about 10 of us went to the Heart and Hope Mission to help with the Thanksgiving distribution. There were 197 families who went through the lines in 4 hours. But the other thing that relates to our signage we had up there about contributing to the toy drive is 4 years ago, the mission had 1,200 kids sign up for the holiday Christmas gifts. Already they have 7,000 kids signed up. And even the distribution is now going to take 5 days just to distribute the Christmas gifts. But obviously with 7,000 kids, there is a shortage of funds and gifts for the 7,000 families, kids signed up.
The need is immense. Yeah. All right. Who else has got things that they want to highlight in the back? Here. Raise your hand again. All right. Go ahead. Do you have a mic?
Okay.
Okay.
Tegan got shy all of a sudden, but she has a really big part in the Christmas program at school. And she wanted to practice talking in a microphone, but we're going to have to work on that.
It's all right. Congratulations. That's great, though. All right. Miss Louise.
Bernie and I had an amazing afternoon yesterday. We had a family reunion for my side of the family, and we had 60 people and 5 generations represented. It was amazing.
That's amazing. That's great. Congratulations. Other good things. Right over here. Connie.
I just want to let you know that today is my son's 48th birthday, and my grandson just got home from the Citadel on Thursday night, and will be here for a little over a week.
Great. Fantastic. Other good things. Things that you want to celebrate. Yeah, right back here.
Well, you're fast. Thank you.
He is.
I just wish to say that it's good to be back.
Yes.
I came back on Consecration Sunday, and after 2 hospitalizations, about a year and a half of aggravation, I'm back on my feet, I think.
That's good.
80% of the way, at least.
Welcome back. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Others, maybe things that aren't so good in people's lives that you know about.
I appreciate the congregation praying for me for my sciatica, and I'd ask for you to pray harder.
Okay. Yep. Right over here.
Arlene's brother Tom in California is entering VA hospice. He's at the very end stage of congestive lung failure due to Agent Orange.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Sorry. Is there other things that people that you know about, situations in the world that we need to just hold close? Okay. Thank you. Do you have something?
It seems seems like that there are so many things in the world that we could bring up and pray for. We could be here all day. So I invite you to call to mind the one that has caught your attention. The one that caught my attention this week was the young women, the girls that have been kidnapped from the boarding school in Niger. I got no words. You pick your thing. Hold it close as we hold all these prayers.
So today, we remember. We remember because God calls us not just to see our horizon as here in front of us, but further out. Today, God, as we remember your love for us, as we remember the many blessings that we have, the celebrations that we have, we acknowledge your presence in joy in all of that. And yet we also remember those in the world who do not share that joy, whose only horizon is heartache and heartbreak. So today, God, you know that we're on this journey. We're on this journey together with you. And in this place, we embrace all of the things that you call us to embrace. We remember that you have given us an opportunity today to love our neighbors, to love ourselves, and to love this moment. We remember your Christ, not so different from us, but who journeyed amongst us for a short time on this earth and then went forth. We too will journey in this world for a bit. Help us to see today all the opportunities that we have to love. Help us to be open to being loved and to be like your Christ who was in this world when he taught us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Hey, kids, come on down. Miss Sarah's going to share a children's sermon this morning.
Yeah, it slid into home base there.
Yeah, there you go.
You don't play baseball, but you did slide in really well there. You do. Thank you. Hi, friends. Good morning, good morning. It's like Minecraft, isn't it? It says bedrock, building confidence in God block by block. We've been talking about confidence and that how God gives us confidence because he stands with us, right? So in our verses, those who trust in the Lord will receive new strength. They'll fly as high as eagles, and they'll run and not get tired, and they'll walk and not grow weak. Isaiah 40:31. Yeah, that's a good one, right? The most important word in that whole sentence is trust. Those who trust in the Lord, right? So today our Bible story is all, oh man, it's an amazing Bible story. It's got a beauty pageant. It's got a murder plot. It's got spies. It's got somebody standing with confidence and doing what's right to save someone's life. Does that sound like an amazing story? Dun dun dun. Yeah.
Sometimes when to save someone's life, it means sacrificing something you have.
Sometimes you're right. Yeah. Sometimes you have to take a risk and make a sacrifice to do something for someone else, right? You got that absolutely right, Davis. In fact, here's our bottom line. It says, God can help me stand up for others. Now, do we really have to sacrifice our lives to save someone else's life on a regular basis? Not on a regular basis, right? Well, sometimes you have to sacrifice things you have, yeah. But sometimes maybe it's just as simple as using our mouth to speak truth, right? So, ever seen somebody get picked on? Have you been picked on? Anybody stand up for you?
I've seen someone being picked on and I've been picked on.
Mm-hmm. Did anybody stick up for you and say, hey, don't do that? No, not that time. Yeah, I know, and that's the trouble, right? We need more people to go, hey, that's not nice, right? And that sometimes is tricky to do because you don't want someone to pick on you, right? That makes you feel a little nervous. Who's ever felt a little nervous when you saw something like that? Yeah, I don't want to be, but guess what? Having confidence is doing what we know is right, even when it's tricky, even when it's difficult, right? And God can help you stand up for others. God can help you stand up for others. One time my daughter fell and she actually broke her arm, and she didn't know it was broken yet. And she was crying, and everybody in her class was laughing. Yeah. And she, not only did her arm hurt, but her heart hurt too because they were all laughing. And guess what? One person said, come on, I'll help you. I'll help you get to the teacher. And said to the other kids, don't laugh at her. She's hurt. And they walked her to the teacher, and then the teacher took her to the nurse, and the nurse said, oh, your arm is broken. And then they called me, and we took her to the doctor, and she got a cast, and it got better. But you know what the best part of that story is? The one who helped her. Her name was Maddie. And Maddie was her very best friend after that. They did everything together. Best buds. Because Maddie stuck up for her, right? And helped her. And that's not a hard thing to do, is it? You can do that. You can make friends with someone, can't you? Davis?
I've stood up for someone before.
Yes.
Even after I did that, even though they were even though they were like my friends, but they were mean to me, I still did it because I didn't like because I don't like seeing people who are getting bullied or getting picked on.
Yeah. I don't like seeing people get bullied or picked on either. Yeah, and as grown-ups, we have to do that too. Even as grown-ups. Did you know that? It doesn't stop when you stop being a kid. In fact, sometimes I say it's more important even as grown-ups. All right. Who's excited to hear the story when we get downstairs? Because I told you it's an amazing one, right? Yeah, me too. It's one of my favorites. In fact, remember I told you about my daughter who broke her arm? Her name is Hadassah. And we got her name from the story we're going to hear today. It's in the Bible. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, who's going to pray with me? Come on up. Ready? Oh, they're still coming. Come on. Come on, Simone. Want to stand over here? Or going to stand over there? Okay. Here we go. God, thank you for your great love. Help my ears to hear your words. Help my mouth to speak your kindness. Help my hands to serve my neighbor. Help me to trust you always. God, thank you for your great love. Amen. No running. Walking.
All right, kids are off to their places. Stand up, greet one another, go check out the Wonka factory over there, purchase some yummy treats.
So one of the things we realize around St. Luke is sometimes we're not always good at telling you all of the wonderful things that are happening, especially those that happen in between the Sundays. So this morning we've asked Amy Breyer to come up, who is the director of our Child Development Center, to come just take a moment. Let's see, I'm getting a mic. The mics are all hidden somewhere else. Thanks, Chris. Chris has got it. Come on up. And Becky's on the advisory board.
Yep.
Yeah, gotcha. So, Amy, thank you for taking time out of Sunday. You're here so many hours all during the week, and we really appreciate you taking time this morning to come.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good morning. Yeah, I'm just here to say hello, and just to remind you, like he said, that we are busy here Monday through Friday. We currently have 125 kiddos that are here in the center Monday through Friday, from about 7:45 to 5:30 at night. And then we have around 50-some employees that come and go to help not just care for our kids. They do so much more than just care for the kids. They will intentionally guide the kids throughout the day with activities, whether it's reading with them, not just playing with them, but when they're playing and talking with those kiddos, they're very intentional on what they're doing to help them develop both cognitively, physically, all those different developmental stages. And we're watching those developmental stages. So it's just not just caring and babysitting for kids. We do so much more, and we get these little kiddos ready for kindergarten by the time they leave here. So again, as Marshall mentioned earlier today, we just want to, at Christmas time, not just say thank you through that Christmas bonus that's added to their check, but sometimes having that tangible gift card of just $20 to go and get a coffee or go get lunch, especially after a really tough day, maybe a tough Monday. Mondays are always tough. But just that little $20 actually goes a long way in our staff's eyes. So that's what I'm just here to say is, if you could just give a little thank you to our staff and help recognize them, we would appreciate that very much. And Becky's here with the CDC, and she also comes and reads with us too on Wednesdays. So,
which is the funnest thing I do all week. As I'm sure you all know, taking care of kids can be exhausting. And these, mostly ladies, do we have any male employees right now?
high school kid.
Okay, so ladies and one young man work very, very hard, and it doesn't pay a lot being a child care worker. But keeping really good child care workers is important to the quality of our CDC. And we used to ask for $5 or $10 gift cards, but you can't even buy a cup of coffee for $5 now. So we are asking for $10 to $20, and they really do like coffee gift cards, but also anything that might be special for them. And giving gift cards to some place that they might want to shop, like Target or Walmart or Kohl's, is also very helpful. So I'm just putting in a plug for our teachers because they are amazing.
Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Marshall.
I can tell you that if I was in one of those rooms all day long, it wouldn't be coffee. It wouldn't be coffee.
That's true, too.
Yeah. Cheryl, please come and share the story with us.
Little side note, when I first skimmed over this, when I was asked to read it, I thought this is really odd to do this story just as we're ready to go into Advent. And then I thought of those friends of mine who will go into the bookstore or the library to get a book and flip to the back and read the ending first. And they say it helps guide them through the rest of the book. So maybe that's why it was placed on this Sunday. It comes from Luke 23:33 to 43. When they came to the place that is called the Skull, they crucified Jesus there with the criminals, one on his right and one on his left. Then Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing." And they cast lots to divide his clothing. And the people stood by watching, but the leaders scoffed at him, saying, "He saved others, let him save himself, if he is the Messiah of God, his chosen one." The soldiers also mocked him, coming up and offering him sour wine and saying, "If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself." There was also an inscription over him, "This is the King of the Jews." One of the criminals who were hanged there kept deriding him, saying, "Are you not the Messiah? Save yourself and us." But the other rebuked him, saying, "Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed have been condemned justly, for we are getting what we deserve for our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come in your kingdom." He replied, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." Thanks be to God. Sorry.
Cheryl, I'm with you. I'm with many folk who, when we come to this particular scripture, I'm like, wait a second. Isn't this what we read in March or April? Isn't this the story for the spring? But we end up with it here at the end of the year. And sometimes, on occasion, I stand up here and I realize that a sermon has been working on me longer than I needed to be working on the sermon. Right? It's happened this past few months as I've driven along, and every once in a while, maybe you have the same experience. You'll look up by the side of the road, and all of a sudden you'll see, 3 crosses out there, right? We have it's a little more picturesque than anything I've seen, but something like that. You'll see this, and perhaps I'm a bit contrarian. Maybe I've just been grumpy. I don't know, but every time I see it, there's just something about seeing those 3 crosses that just doesn't quite sit right. And I've been trying to figure out, what that's about. And well, I'm beginning to realize a few things about what it's about. It's never done. But one of the things this is the question. How many people were crucified? How many people were crucified on the night Jesus was crucified? I can see it. All of you are going 3, but he's asking the question, so I know that's not the right answer. Right? The thing is, I don't know that we know. In Vacation Bible School, I'd have been the first one to stand up and say, what are you talking about? There's 3. The story says there's 3. You're absolutely right. The story says there's 3, but that doesn't mean that that's all of them. That's all of them. Because I think part of the problem that I'm having with the cross is the way in which we have venerated it. All right? We've covered it with gold. All right? I got 9 of them, I think, that I can put on, that are on strings that I can hang around my neck. All right? We wear it as jewelry. I don't think I could rifle through every one of your jewelry boxes, and I bet I could not find an electric chair hanging from a little chain in your jewelry box. Right? Anybody got one? Or a noose. Right? Perhaps in the United States, the most like a cross that we have ever had in our history is the noose used on a lynching tree. All right? All right? Crucifixion was not used as a way to just kill somebody. All right? It's not a way of doing capital punishment. In fact, at one time, some of you may know this story better than I do, perhaps because you watched the movie Spartacus, but in 70 BC, some people revolted. And the Romans crucified 6,000 people. All right, 6,000 people, and they put them along the Appian Way. Now, I can't tell you that I know a lot about the Appian Way, except what I've learned this week from Google. All right? But they tell me that the Appian Way is somewhere between 350 to 365 miles long. All right. Go to the Missouri River, get in your car, just come across that bridge and start driving 365 miles west. Do you know where you're at when you get to mile marker 90? You're really close to Ogallala, right? Yeah, Big Bend is over there at mile marker 85. If you took 6,000 people and put them evenly spaced all the way along the line, all the way to Ogallala, do you know how often you would see another dead body? Every 110 yards, you would see another person crucified. All right? Now, that 70 years, that's 100 years before Jesus. All right, it wasn't like yesterday, but I bet they knew the story. One of the things all those religious leaders were worried about that ended up deciding that Jesus should be crucified, that the resurrection that he might be inciting was such a great risk that it was better to kill him, to have him dead, than to risk what might happen to them. 35 years later came true in the revolt, the Jewish revolt in the 70s. And at that time, and I think Josephus might have been, he might have been able to tell a good story. But however many Jews were crucified every day during that time as they tried to escape the siege of Jerusalem, he equated it to be 500 a day. Crucifixion wasn't just a way to get rid of folk. It was a way to cow folk, enforce somebody's will upon folk. I kept the name of this person because I just liked the way she said it. Her name is Katie Givens Kime. She said this. Let me find it. She said that Jesus was not killed because he was important. He was killed because he was a nobody who claimed to be important. It's a bit of a paraphrase. He was killed. I'm pressing Sean into work today, not because we're related, but because I didn't know who else in the church was 6'6". Anybody else 6'6"? Sorry, nobody. I'd have called on him. I would have called on him. So, this is the preacher kid walk to the front of the church. I got it. Again. I want to, hey, Brian, while he's coming up, can you put up that other picture of the crosses? Well, yeah, it's only one. I mean, put that one back up. Now, when I see pictures like that, don't you generally think that the feet of the people would probably be about right here? Right? So stand, make like a cross. All right. Now, I got the tall guy because even if you were like a 5'6" and you were put a foot off the ground, the crosses were not made so that everybody around could look up and see them. The crosses were made so that when you walked by, you could see them. The Romans wanted you to know, thanks. The Romans wanted you to know. I know, sometimes you work for sermon illustrations, you know? The Romans wanted you to see and to know what kind of pain people were going through, the suffering they were doing. They would strip you naked, they would whip you, and they would put you on the cross. Now, folks, I got to admit to you, out of all those things, if you make me stand up here in front of you naked, it's a bad day. All right? It's a bad day for me, and it's a bad day for you. It's about humiliation. It's about trying to convince you that you're worth nothing, that you're barely worth the time it took to take your breath away from you. In 1925, Pope Leo the 11th, I believe it is, created Christ the King Sunday, right? In 1925, think about it. He's concerned, or at least it's written, that he's concerned about the secular power and authority that's being expressed in the world. And he wants to raise up that Christ is king, right? Right between World War I and World War II. I will fully admit, I would be looking for everything that I could to try to help people see the importance of the church. I don't think he got it right? It will not surprise you. Nobody has asked me my opinion on this, all right? But I'm not quite sure he got it right. And this is why. Part of what the crucifixion, I think, tries to show us and teach us is that the power that is exercised in the world is not what Christ and God are trying to help us understand. It's not the power that God exercises in the world. Roger, he has this line that always makes me laugh, but he'll say something like, God had a bad attitude until he became a dad. Right? Roger says it with language that is not yet appropriate for sermons. And I laugh because there's a grain of truth with it, but it's backwards. Right? Because I've stood up here before you, and I'll do it again, 100 times before you quit listening to me, and tell you that the God that is expressed in the Hebrew Scriptures is the same God that is expressed in the Greek and Aramaic Scriptures. In other words, the Old Testament God and the New Testament God, they're the same God. And the God in the Old Testament was not any less loving than the God in the New Testament. What helped and what happened was, it wasn't God that changed when God had children, i.e. a son, i.e. that's how we understand it. It is us that understood God differently. The only power that Jesus exerts hanging on the cross is the power to forgive and to invite people into community with him. All right? To forgive and to invite people into community with him. I am somewhere between annoyed, deeply troubled, or asking Roger for words that I can use to express just how concerned I am with the way in which Christianity is being expressed in our culture today as a way of creating a better society around us. All right? Everything from asking us to pray in school, to putting up the 10 Commandments in schools, to all those sorts of things, whatever they are, I get deeply concerned about them because none of them stand here at the cross. All of them try to express how we ought to be better people. All right, I doubt I could get any of you to admit that you don't think you need to get any better. All right, that's my job. Anyway, but it's done in such a way that doesn't offer forgiveness and doesn't ask folk into community. Folk, if I got to be Pope and to declare where we saw the love of God and where we saw our humanity engaging with that which is holy, at the most vulnerable, at the most heart-wrenching, at the most difficult, at that point where we're reminded that we got nothing else to offer or to give to justify ourselves, I would want to know Christ as the cancer patient. I would want to know Christ is the person you lose a moment at a time, day after day. I would want to know Christ as the one afraid and bound and taken from a school that they thought was safe and that they could go and learn. I would want to know the Christ present and the person who's grabbed and taken and losing everything for a second time when the authorities grab them and say, you can't live here anymore. Because I'll bet you dollars to donuts, on average, if you give me the statistics, the person who's being taken has already lost things all they had once before. They wouldn't be here. It is that God. It is that God who loves us at every moment. It is that God who offers us forgiveness and community and hope and presence. I don't like the cross. I'm much better at Christmas and sitting around a meal table, celebrating the presence of God. But I am so thankful that one of the ways I get to understand what it means to be the divine in the world is to see the presence of God in Christ as he's crucified. Next week, we start all over again. And we're going to begin to talk about what it means to have hope for this moment to come. You got to be born first. It's really kind of magical. He goes from birth to 33 in 12 months. All right? He goes from the vulnerability of the cradle to the vulnerability of the cross. Folk, if we are to have a witness in the world, the witness is to be as willing to be as vulnerable and as open and loving as God-like is the one who has nothing else to give and nothing else to hide and nowhere else to go. Because in it is the opportunity of new life. I don't know that moment today. I don't know that moment this week where you will feel like you just walked out onto the stage without any clothes. It might happen. When you do, know that Christ stands right beside you and will deal with whatever else you're going to deal with that day with you too. Amen. Take a deep breath. All right, just be aware of those around you and take another deep breath, and when you get it, stop and take a little bit more and breathe it out. Take a third breath for this moment. All right. What kind of questions, better endings, other ideas, fixes do you have? We got a few.
When I leave church each Sunday, I like to be able to, in one sentence, repeat what I learned. And today I can't do that. Can you give me a sentence that summarizes, epitomizes what was so difficult to get across for me? Just that one sentence I can leave and say, yes, I get that.
There ain't nothing you're ever going to get, nothing you're ever going to own, nothing you're ever going to be that will stand up to the world at different times. But when you're at the bottom, there's a lot of commas in this sentence. When you're at the bottom and you got nothing else, God's already been there and will welcome you and forgive you and love you in the midst of it. If I could do all of them in that minute, one sentence, what fun would that be? Go ahead.
I have a hard time also distinguishing between what's good and what's the bully in our political society. So when there are groups gathering that are protesting and they're putting up piñatas of political figures or ICE agents or other leaders that are actually going after some child abusers, I'm all about protect the kids, protect the women. And what's the difference? Or tearing down our monuments to our past history. Figuring out what's the bully, who's the Christ-like person, who's forgiving, who's standing up for those that are weaker.
None of them are Christ-like. None of them. That's the point. None of them are Christ-like. Because Christ would stand here and go, what? Maybe he wouldn't use Roger language. I don't know. Perhaps there's some Aramaic in there that I don't quite. That's the thing. The way in which we exercise power and control, authority and leadership in the world is not the church, is not the gospel. Unfortunately, it is the church. Because the church has abused its power and abused its authority forever. But that's not the gospel. All right? The gospel doesn't create, it doesn't protect people who abuse others. It doesn't do that. But it is much more worried about the victims and the others and the forgiveness and the creating the community and helping folk who are in the midst of having the authority around them exercised upon them than the other. That's the gospel.
Back to an earlier point in what you talked about today, I've always had a big, stumbling block with the term Christ the King, or calling Christ King of the Jews. And the word king, because Christ never ordered people, Christ never demanded loyalty, Christ never insisted everything be his way. He merely advised and was shown by example, but it was up to each individual to either follow the example or not. That's very unking-like. It's more of a love symbol.
I just get to work with what I inherit, If I could, the Pope's a White Sox fan now, so apparently he knows what it is to suffer. I think the Christian religion changed dramatically and not for the good when the church council happened in Constantine's presence to try to tell us all what we had to believe. All right? We went from being the religion that helped those who were under the oppression of others to being the religion of those who oppressed and abused others. We went from a crucified God to one who crucifies. Right? Not all the time. There's been things that the church has done over the years that have been incredibly wonderful and graceful and life-giving. But we're also the church who said, when you go out and explore, if they won't become Christians, you can kill them. That's just real.
This isn't in relation to the gospel. I'm just when they stood up and talked about the CDC and helping those who are taking care of our kids and such. If anyone is debating on whether or not they feel that it is worth giving to that and helping those workers get a Christmas bonus and things, I will never forget the day that my 1.5-year-old sat down and did her affirmations to herself, and that doesn't happen for the young women in our society all the time. So, for no other reason than that, help those people out, because it's life-changing.
Part of me is saying that he earned his I am the grandson of Jim Wortman Merit Badge today, because Jim can't talk without crying either. The affirmations, you may not know what it is. They take time to teach the kids to affirm all the things that are good about them. That's one of the things they stand up to do. All right? When they're this size. There are things they're going to learn in the future that they may have not done right, but they need to know from as young as possible. We do it at church. It's when I look at a kid and we baptize them and I remind them and their parents that God poured everything good into that individual. And then I got to remind the parents and you all that the same thing is true about you. All that was good has already been poured into you and loved. It's 10:01. I think it's time for the benediction. All right? So let's say the benediction. Leave noisy and in relationship with one another. Join with me. Now, let us go in peace to live the faith that matters, grow in the love of God, to serve wherever we are led. Amen. Have a great week.
I felt the cold wind rip right through my weary soul, and I've known